Hey everyone, First Order here, and in this video we are going to talk about another batch of leaked Battlefront 2 alpha files. So let's get started. This batch is from the Reddit user Darth Boosty. Yes, Darth Boosty, I love these guys' names. We have first Uninspired Zebra and now Darth Boosty. Anyway, it reveals a lot. It's not anything that I can split up into 3 individual videos like the first batch, so I'm just going to shove it all in one video and let's just see how it goes. So, a lot of stuff was leaked, from maps, game modes, vehicles, and some small things here and there, like a certain character he found, certain object that you'll be able to play as, stuff like that. So let's start with planets. Now the planet section was split up into 2 parts. Maps that you'll be able to play in the campaign, and maps that you'll be able to play in the multiplayer. Well, the Galactic Assault. It's not all multiplayer, so there might be more multiplayer maps in the game. But this is just for a specific game mode, Galactic Assault, that was shown off at E3, which is the Naboo map. So there might be, like, for example, Blast is probably going to come back. So let's say one of these planets aren't playable on Blast, but another one could be. Just forewarning you there. These planets might not be the only ones playable in the multiplayer. Also, I want to remind you that this is an alpha. My last 3 videos about leaked files, a lot of people ignored me on this. This isn't the final build of the game, so there are going to be more planets in the game, because the list is kind of short. This is not the final list. Anyway, let's get started. Let's look at the Galactic Assault maps. Naboo, which we all know, Yavin 4, Takodana, Jakku, Starkiller Base, Kamino, Endor, and the second Death Star. Okay, Galactic Assault is kind of like the Walker Assault equivalent of Battlefront 2. You have certain objects that you have to defend, and then those certain objects can break something that makes you defend another place, and you have to retreat, basically attack and defend situation, which is in a lot of multiplayer games. I'm excited to play Galactic Assault on Death Star 2 because it's probably going to be very similar to Battle Station from the first Battlefront, where you start in the outside and you work your way in to destroy the Death Star. So, very excited for that. Anyway, let's go on to the second section for campaign maps. Now, some of these are going to be kind of weird, and, well, the first one's weird, so I'll show you now. Athula. Athula is not mentioned in anything in Star Wars. I looked up on Legends. I can't find any information on Athula, so maybe this is a new planet in Battlefront 2. Bespin, Endor, Fondor, Jakku, Naboo. Here's another weird one, Pylo. Now, there's 2 files for Pylo, alive and dead. The Reddit user thinks that there could be something like a catastrophic event that happens in-game which makes the planet inhabitable, which I can see happening. He says a biochemical, but I'm thinking more on the lines of this. After the Emperor died, he put a plan into play called Project Contingency, where basically everyone had a certain task. You even see Iden Versio get her task in the Battlefront 2 trailers.
Your next assignments, they are unusual.
It was an Emperor drone, and the Emperor drone had a message for certain individuals. So maybe one certain admiral gets a message to destroy, well, basically, to make Pylo inhabitable. So what's probably going to happen is that somewhere an admiral is going to get a message saying, hey, destroy Pylo from the Emperor for whatever reason, and then he's going to take a Star Destroyer there and just make an orbital bombardment all around the planet. That's my guess, but it could mean anything. Anyway, let's move on to the last 3 planets, which is Starkiller Base. That's a given considering that Iden's a member of the Empire, which turns into the First Order, Takodana, and Vardos. Those are all cool, very excited to play on all of those maps in the campaign and Galactic Assault. Now let's move over to game modes. Now game mode, it's not actual game modes, it's just what it's classified as. You'll understand when I start talking. Anyway, let's get on to this. Campaign and scrimmage. Now, there's going to be 4 difficulties for these game modes. Easy, medium, hard, and hardcore. But for scrimmage, it lists that there's going to be Blast for scrimmage. With Blast, you'll be able to customize the score. So with regular, it's 100, so you could probably change it to 50, 100, 500, etc. And there was a 1v1 duel mode found. So this is similar to the Battlefront 1's hero battle that was in the single player section. And then fantasy battles, which is, from what I can tell, basically the multiplayer section. So instead of on the main menu going from campaign to scrimmage multiplayer, it will be campaign, scrimmage, and fantasy battles. The reason I think it's multiplayer is because there were multiple game modes found within fantasy battles. There was Galactic Assault found, Blast found, and Heroes vs. Villains, ta-da! No surprise that that's returning because it's a fan favorite. So I think fantasy battles is a new name for multiplayer, which is kind of cool, I guess. Another thing that he found, this is one of those things that are just here and there, a commando, which apparently the commando is the jet jump trooper, but if it's the clone jump trooper, then why does Battle Droid say this?
Commando incoming! Commando incoming! Clone commando!
So, it's just confusing to me because imagine doing this. Imagine you are a shadow trooper. Okay, you're a shadow trooper. You run up to a rebel trooper. You hit him once, and then the rebel says, shock trooper incoming. Like, it's not right. So I doubt that Lucasfilm or anyone really who knows anything about Star Wars there would allow the droids to call clone jet troopers commandos. Anyway, let's move on to vehicles. Now that I got that little short rant out of the way, I will put up the image of every vehicle because I'm not going to explain every single one because you probably don't recognize some of the names, but you will definitely recognize the image. X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing, Millennium Falcon, T-47 Airspeeder, TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, AT-ST, TIE Bomber, TX-130 Assault Tank, ARC-170, Henna Bomber, X-34 Landspeeder, Slave 1, TIE Advanced X-1, a Tauntaun, Discriminator, and something called a Grizzly Bear, which don't know what that is. There's two other smaller things that he found. He found Poe Dameron labeled, but it doesn't specify whether or not Poe Dameron is a hero on the ground or Poe Dameron's X-Wing. Another thing he found was multiple turret types that you'll be able to play as. Which, does this confirm kind of like in Battlefront 2 how you could command a turret during space battles? Maybe. Or could it be like a turret that we saw in the first Battlefront game on Solist? Who knows? Anyway, there's one more thing that he found. I'm not going to put it in this video because I myself do not want to be spoiled. It is Battlefront 2 campaign dialogue, yes. Actual lines from the storyline. I don't want to read it. So, if you want to be spoiled and you want to know certain dialogues, I read the first line and trust me, it's pretty interesting. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're that kind of person who can't wait and loves spoilers, check the description below and click the link with the spoiler thread. Anyway, well, that's all of the Battlefront 2 leaked alpha files. You could call it round 2. That's all of the Battlefront 2 leaked files of round 2. Hopefully, more leaked files will come out eventually, and I'll be able to make videos on those. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, blast a like, and all that good stuff. Let's try to aim for about 50 likes, considering, well, this is a leaked video, and no one else does leaked videos because they're entitled to EA's contract. Well, me, I'm not entitled to that. I can make a video on whatever I want. Now, if I was, then I probably wouldn't do this because I signed a contract saying I wouldn't say anything about the Battlefront 2 leaked files. But I did not because EA did not invite me to EA Play, and they did not give me a pre-alpha code. So I'm going to make Battlefront 2 leaked videos as much as I want. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, blast a like, and all that good stuff. And if you are new, why don't you subscribe for all things Star Wars? This is the First Order, signing out.
Sector is clear. Not clear! Not clear!